Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Daily Debate. My name is Ahmed Nader and tonight we'll be focusing on the economic development which took place in Egypt under the tenure of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in the past 8 years ever since 2014, and more specifically the initiatives that were launched under the tenure of President al-Sisi like Takaful and Karama, the Decent Life initiative which targeted millions of Egyptians in thousands of Egyptian villages, and how it could be affecting positively the economic development in the country for millions of Egyptians, specifically in the times of the COVID-19, the coronavirus pandemic, and the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. We'll be as well focusing on the boosting of exports in the same tenure, under the same tenure of President al-Sisi, and how things are panning out during the past few months. We will be starting straight away with the top story for Sunday, and it comes through the presidential activities of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, as His Excellency held a meeting on Sunday with the Presidential Advisor for the Urban Planning, Major General Amir Sayed, Head of the Engineering Authority, Major General Hisham al-Suwaifi, and the Vice President of the Engineering Authority, Major General Ahmed al-Azazi. Presidential spokesman Murad said that the meeting dealt with the progress report for a number of ongoing projects affiliated with the authority across the nation, including the sectors of roads, bridges, construction, and the architectural projects. It also reviewed the measures of developing Nasser Institute for Treatment, including the upgrade process of the facilities and the establishment of the new medical departments, as well as the procedures of increasing the capacity of its clinics by 1,000 additional beds. In this context, President al-Sisi directed to transform the institute to an integrated medical city and to raise the infrastructure efficiency within the global expertise in this field. The process of developing roads and access in Greater Cairo was also tackled during the meeting. We will be having a report on the Daily Debate for tonight. The first report of the episode for tonight would be on the Decent Life initiative and the directives made by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi regarding implementing this initiative for millions of Egyptians, about 50 million Egyptians in about 50,000 villages across the nation. We'll be having more details in the upcoming report, so stay tuned.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has urged the reliance on local components as much as possible in implementing the projects under the Haya Karima or Decent Life initiative to develop the countryside. The president's remarks came in a ministerial meeting earlier last week. This decision is an opportunity to localize local industry and increase reliance on local technology in cooperation with investors and the private sector, especially with regards to the project's infrastructure components. President al-Sisi and the ministers also reviewed the challenges facing the implementation of the projects of the Presidential Decent Life initiative on the ground and the measures taken to overcome them. The statement added that the cultivation and supply season of some strategic food commodities in the countryside have obstructed the implementation of some of the initiative's projects. The president reviewed the progress of the projects in various governorates, especially in the sectors of drinking and sewage water networks, natural gas, electricity and lighting, communication and transportation and roads. President al-Sisi launched the first phase of the Decent Life initiative for rural development last year in July to develop the countryside's infrastructure, health, educational and institutional sectors in few years.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate, and I'm honored to be having with me over the phone for tonight Dr. Osama Murad, the financial expert. Dr. Osama, thank you very much for being with us tonight.
A pleasure and honor to me. Thank you.
The pleasure is all mine. First of all, we did see the directives made by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in the past few months to be implementing the Decent Life Initiative. How do you see the importance of such an idea that will be targeting millions of Egyptians and thousands of villages? Dr. Osama.
Hello?
Can you hear me, Dr. Osama?
The sound was not clear. Can you repeat, please?
Yes, I was asking about the initiative of a Decent Life Initiative, the directives made by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to be implementing this initiative in the past few months to be targeting millions of Egyptians and thousands of villages. How do you see the importance of such an idea?
Well, the idea is brilliant, especially that the Hayat Karima initiative is one of the most successful development initiatives in the world, has been praised worldwide, is very successful and has achieved vast goals. The importance is very high in the time where the world is facing global inflation and rising food prices. So it is very important to make Egyptians able to earn enough money.
Yes. Doctor, when do you think we could be expecting a positive reaction for the initiative in Egypt?
Well, economic initiatives always take time to show an impact and effect. And it takes at least 3 to 6 months in order to see the fruits of the initiative.
About 6 months?
Yes.
On the other hand, you've mentioned, Doctor, that we are in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic all over the world, the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. How do you think those conflicts and those circumstances all over the world could be affecting the initiatives and the ideas that we are implementing economically in the country?
The initiative was especially made to combat the crisis which we are facing. We thought that the impact of the coronavirus is strong, but the Russian-Ukrainian conflict has a much wider impact on Egypt. So this initiative is especially important in the current time.
Yes, during the meetings of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi with a number of ministers and Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli, one of the directives of President al-Sisi is to be depending on the local raw materials instead of importing them from the outside world. How do you think this could be affecting positively the economy for the upcoming, as you mentioned, 6 months to a year?
It is an important symbolic move in the current time because we are facing drastic foreign exchange pressures, and that's why President Sisi wants to replace imports by locally made products.
The small and medium enterprises, how do you see the efforts of the government to be supporting the SMEs and meanwhile to be supporting as well the increase of the job opportunities and decreasing the unemployment?
The small and medium-sized enterprise sector is one of the most job-creating sectors in the Egyptian economy. The initiative by the Central Bank of Egypt under the auspices of President Sisi for subsidized loans has been very successful. But the sector needs more attention now, especially in easing of regulations and taxation. taxation is becoming a burden in the current time on this sector, and luckily there is an initiative for a unified tax. However, it needs to be promoted and implemented further.
Yes, Doctor, we will be taking a quick break and we'll be returning once again to you on the daily debate, so stay tuned.